All right. Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Good afternoon. Those of you who are in time zones where it's afternoon. Let me shuffle around a few more windows here. Do a quick introduction. Let me scoot this microphone just a bit. How's it going, Dexter? Okay, we want this one over here. And I think we'll just put that one there. All right. So hello to everyone. My name is Tim. I go by FoamyGuy on GitHub and Discord. This is the Deep Dive program, which is a weekly live stream program where we are getting down and dirty, working on different things related to CircuitPython. Sometimes diving into the core of CircuitPython. That's really how this stream started. More so was started by Scott Shawcroft, the lead developer, and it was definitely heavily focused down into the core. Scott took some time off last year, and I took over doing the stream. I am not quite as in-depth as he is, so we don't always stay inside the core. Sometimes we go to libraries and projects and other things. Today, though, we will actually be getting into the core a bit, so we'll be going back to the roots of Deep Dive, so to speak. How's it going over there in YouTube? Jack Burton, Quinman16, and Beata Graf. Hello to you three, and thanks for tuning in, as well as C. Grover over in the Discord there. So like I said, my name is Tim. I go by FoamyGuy on GitHub and Discord. If you are new to the program, or if you're catching this in the video after the fact or whatever, and you haven't watched any of these streams before, and you don't necessarily know what I'm talking about, CircuitPython is what we're working on. There's the website circuitpython.org is where you can head to learn more about the project. The quick version, though, is that this is an implementation of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers. There's a bunch of pictures of them over here on the downloads page. All of these devices essentially have a tiny computer inside of them, and we're writing Python code that runs on that tiny computer. Oftentimes, it will integrate with other peripherals, other hardware that has been connected, as part of the circuit, either through the GPIO pins, like along the side of lots of these devices, or around the outside of this one. But other times it can just be built-in hardware as well, like this one's got a display and a rotary encoder and a bunch of Cherry MX keys and stuff. So all different shapes and sizes of these microcontroller devices. They all have different stuff built in and different capabilities and things. The common thread that brings everything together is that all of these devices support CircuitPython, so we're able to write this Python code, have it interpreted live on the device, and executed for us. Like I said, circuitpython.org, that's where you can head to learn more. It's an open source project, CircuitPython is, so anybody is allowed to use it. Anybody is allowed to port it to their own device to add support for it. Anybody is allowed to contribute to it. The beauty of the open source project is all of that stuff. So there's a vibrant community built around the project. If you are interested in getting involved in the community, I would say my biggest advice probably is to head over to the Discord to join us, which is linked down below, adafru.it/discord. And with that, I will also mention Adafruit, which this is their website here, adafruit.com. They are a hardware and software company based out of New York, and Adafruit is the company that is primarily funding the CircuitPython project by paying the folks that work on it. So there's a team of folks who work full-time on the project that are paid by Adafruit to do so, and there are other folks who work on the project part-time, like myself, who are being paid by Adafruit to do so. So definitely thank you to them. And then if you want to help support the project, one of the ways that you can do that is by heading over to adafruit.com and purchase yourself some hardware from there. They have all sorts of nifty toys. The microcontrollers themselves, they sell a lot of them, as well as design and manufacture a lot of them. They also have lots of the different things that you can hook up to your microcontroller in order to interact with. So things like buttons, lights, RGB lights, buzzers, beepers, sensors, knobs, levers, all of this sort of stuff. They sell over on adafruit.com. So head there and get yourself some toys if that's the kind of thing you're interested in. Looking a bit more specifically at what I want to work on tonight, and kind of just jumping straight in, I actually don't have the page pulled up right now. Let's do that. I am looking into, let's see here, IS This one. No? Yes. Yeah. The gist of this is, let me pull up the camera as well. The gist of this is that on the LED glasses device, which is a specific device that runs CircuitPython, this device here, this is made for the LED glasses, which is one of the things you could purchase over at Adafruit. If we click through to here, I imagine we'll be able to see it. Maybe on one of these, like there we go. So these are some RGB glasses which have 2 rings of neopixels as well as a big grid in the middle there. And then that first device, the actual microcontroller one of the microcontrollers that can drive these glasses is this one. This one actually happens to do it a bit differently than some of the other ones. This one has a core built-in module that allows it to interact with that the driver chip that makes this glasses thing work. And this is the only device where that core module is used, at least as of right now. And it turns out that core module doesn't work quite right with CircuitPython 8. So what I am attempting to do today is try to figure out where the commit between 733 and 800 beta 1. Somewhere in there, there's going to be a commit where this stopped working, essentially, and we are trying to find that commit, and then once we find it, we'll be able to see the code that's inside of it and try to start figuring out, like, what about the code is making it not work, and then, ideally, hopefully, start looking for a fix. So that's today's first task. In order to make that easier, I have the repo open in PyCharm, and what I have here is a compare view. So what I have done is checked out the 73.x branch, which is a branch in the repo. This branch is, I would assume, the one that 733 is built from. I'm not entirely sure how these historical branches work, so I could have some of the details wrong, but my assumption is that 733, the released stable version that's currently the main released version of CircuitPython, is built from this branch, and this one indeed does work with the glasses. Specifically, I'm running the example script, one of the example scripts that's in the repo. Let's get our device connected as well, and I will still need to get the camera pulled up. I started that, but then just jumped right back out. We don't really need the light, I guess, right? Because we're turning lights on. Mode. I guess it's already focused. Oh, crashed it. What do I recommend for you and CircuitPython? I'm primarily a Windows guy, but I'm willing to use Linux. Do you mean like, what do I recommend as far as like the authoring tool, like what you modify your CircuitPython code with and run it on your device from and stuff like that? Or just want to make sure I understand what you're actually talking about. Or do you mean some other kind of tool that's used or something? Let's see. There we go. That focused up. So right now we have a version of this, and we can get this device out of here. That's not the one we're looking at. This is the one we're looking at, the LED glasses driver and then the glasses themselves. And right now we're on a build that is working correctly. The OS. Let's see, what do I recommend for you in CircuitPython? I mean, I would say the OS doesn't matter too much. Personally, I use Linux, but I was a Windows user for a long time until, I don't know, about 2 or 3 years ago, I think is when I first got a Linux laptop. But I would say whatever you're comfortable with, honestly. It doesn't necessarily matter too much whether you're using Windows or Linux. The one caveat there that I will say, if you intend to develop CircuitPython, the core itself, the C project, which is what I have open here, if you intend to develop that, I believe it's a little bit easier on Linux than it is Windows. That's my own sort of anecdotal findings. Back when I did use Windows, I did start to get my toes wet, so to speak, dip my toes in to start CircuitPython development, and I was able to do that on Windows. You are able to do that on Windows. There are some of the people who work on the project regularly that do use Windows, I believe. So that totally can work. However, you need either like Windows subsystem for Linux, or you need to use a VirtualBox or something like that. Whereas if you're on Linux, you can just build native. So I would say whatever you're comfortable with is probably my primary recommendation. If you don't feel like you're overly, have a preference one way or the other, I would say try out Linux. There are a couple of things that I felt like at least were a little bit easier to get up and running in order to make the builds and stuff. That being said, like Linux has a bit of a tough learning curve, so if you're not familiar with like terminal and stuff like that, then it can definitely be a bit daunting. How's it going, Axel Magnus? What are we? Okay, what version are we actually on here? Let's check that out. So basically, we're just going to be building a bunch of different versions and running this example script until we find the one where it fails, hopefully. Where is the device? This is our example script, which is just one of the ones in the repo. And right now we're on 7.3.0 beta 2. So we're not quite on 7.3.3. And I don't remember if I downloaded this or if I built it from here or what, but that's the version we're on currently. And so really what we have in this compare is we're comparing the main branch with the 7.3x branch. All of these commits listed in this top window here are commits that exist in main, but not 7.3.3. So presumably somewhere amongst this list is the commit or commits that caused the behavior to change for this thing to not work anymore. I don't know what the easiest way to do this is. My gut instinct is kind of just to do a bit of a binary search, basically. Like, go to the middle of this and just, like, choose this one and be like, we're going to test this one. So we're going to check out revision this thing. That's going to check out my local repo so that it's in the state that it was at this commit right here. I'm going to make a build, and then we're going to run it, see if it works or doesn't work, and then cut either the top half or the bottom half in half again and keep working our way down that way. So NRF, yeah, that's the right port. I'll do a clean. Equals this clean. DivG says building, maybe you could get a UF2 from the S3. Yeah, so the thing about it, and I could be wrong, but I think that the way things shook out in this case, there are not actually builds in between. And let me know if I'm wrong, if anybody has other insight into this. And I think it's something to do with maybe just when this device came out or something, I don't know. But we have 7.3.3 right here, and then 8.0.0 beta 1 is the next one up. So as far as I can tell, there's no builds in S3 that are between these two, 7.3.3 and 8.0.0 beta.1. And this one, 8.0.0 beta.1, this one has the broken behavior, and then this one has the working behavior. So in between those two is what we're trying to get to. And as far as I could tell, none of the rest of the ones linked here were in between those two. So that's when I jumped into the actual diff in here and started doing the builds. So clean that, and then we will go J8 to make it faster. Let that build. What OS do I recommend for beginners on Linux? I mean, like, truthfully, I would say Ubuntu is probably the Linux that is like the most widely used by beginners and the most widely targeted with like beginner help documentation and tutorials and things like that. So that's kind of what my recommendation to a beginner would be. I know lots of folks have lots of problems with Ubuntu for various different reasons. Some of them are pretty valid reasons, but I feel like as far as an OS that is geared towards people who are kind of just getting into the world of Linux, Ubuntu is like pretty easy to start up, get using. It's not super duper different from Windows, so like it kind of hopefully helps ease the learning curve a little bit. Beyond that, like Debian is a pretty solid build. I've never had any issues using Debian. Ubuntu is what I'm running on this computer here. On my last computer, I used Pop! OS, which is a OS that's made by the company who manufactured the computer, System 76. And it's actually Pop! OS is built on Ubuntu anyway, so it's kind of like just a customized Ubuntu. All that being said, I don't really have that much experience with different Linux versions, so I am probably not necessarily the best person to offer up advice. Can I send you a link to the OS? Let's see here. So Ubuntu is going to be this one. And then Pop! OS is the one that I was using before, which was all right. I was hoping... What is going on here? I was hoping that Ubuntu would be better in some ways than Pop! OS was in some specific ways. It did not necessarily turn out to be the case, so truthfully, I don't necessarily think one is better than the other. I think they're both fine. There's things I wish was different with both of them, but there's lots of things I like about both of them as well. How's it going, DJ Devin? Let me catch up here as well. Did I miss one? No, okay. Oh, maybe. How could you, let's see. Hi, could you try various UF2s, find a working one, failing one, then pick one between, reduce the window? Yeah, that's the goal, basically. That's exactly what we're going to do. However, we just got to build. There used to be one per commit. I think there is still. I think that's a thing that still happens. It's just either this device is different or like when it got released factors in. I don't know exactly what is up, but this one doesn't seem to have them. I know I've definitely seen those before, and even like the most newest ones up there seem like it does have them, so my guess is just like that device was too new and did not get them until more recently or something. But I mean, like if we go in here, well, I don't know actually. I mean, these say, I don't know, this looks pretty much the same. I guess this is a relatively new device too though, right? So like maybe we should be looking for something that came out a little bit further back, like, well, let's look at the, let me hit the top of the list here, maybe Pico. What is this one? It's been out for a year or two at this point, over a year or two. I don't know, yeah, maybe they're gone. Maybe they don't list them anymore. I don't know, that's a good question. They do get purged out over time. Ah, okay. I didn't know that. Non-release versions get manually deleted after time or some number of releases. Okay. It's good to know. All right, so we did get a build. I put that in bootloader mode, so we should be able to go CP build Adafruit glasses firmware media MC glasses boot. So yeah, maybe if we had gotten to it sooner, then we could have found those in-between commits. But for now, it's the only way I know how to do this, at least, is using this thing. Somebody, Neuradoc maybe? Somebody pointed me to the compare page on GitHub, which is nice as well. I don't have it open in this browser. I'll have to grab the link for that again. Which is a similar kind of thing as what I have here. It shows like the list of commits, and then you can dive into each one. So in this case, we do have the broken behavior. So we'll close some of these down back to here. And so the broken behavior is specifically the inner part. I feel like the rings kind of seem to work pretty well. It might be interesting to go back and actually like decouple this test script maybe and like really do the rings by themselves and see if it's actually perfect or not. But the text, the middle part, it's all jumbled up. It's supposed to be yellow, but sometimes it's coming up as red and green and blue. Like some of them are yellow, some of them have some lines where it's looking like pretty much right for a few of those lines, but a lot of it is all jumbled up. It seems like it's communication is getting corrupted or something weird's going on in there. So this one did have the bad behavior, which means we want to work backwards from there. So I did here, which was 9/28/22. So I'll just kind of go by dates here. I'm going to chunk back about halfway. Let's choose one in here. And and I'm going to try to choose the merge ones just because that should hopefully give us like full PRs. I don't necessarily want to end up on a commit that's like 1 commit out of 10 for a PR or something, right? Like ideally we want the actual chunks where they got merged all together, the commits, rather than just like 1 out of 5 or whatever. Good for just using apt. Well, let me catch up here. Here's a link to the S3. If you're into CircuitPython, you should bookmark it. Yeah, and then circuitpython.org links as well. Getting red pixels in the rings. Yes, but I think the red pixels that are in the rings are actually just from the text while it's scrolling. But there are a few where the blue is not, where the rings are not working right, but I think that is as the text scrolls through. Maybe we should work on decoupling that real quick here. So we should be able to disable the text by just not doing anything on this display, maybe. Would CircuitPython on Ubuntu PyCharm work in a VirtualBox software? I could not really answer that. I don't have any specific experience with it. PyCharm is the IDE that I use a lot, so I do like the PyCharm IDE, and I have had no real particular issues with it, but I have never used it inside of a VirtualBox with CircuitPython before. Following errors, unable to write. We didn't get our code to change for some reason. Oh, we're into safe mode. But we should be able to save our code in safe mode, shouldn't we? Just not have it not run. Okay, I guess that was just timing. No, okay. Save that, we have no show. And then to get it to run again, we'll just use the reset button. Git has bisect command that automates finding where the code broke. I don't know how to use it. If you can point me towards a resource that shows me how to use it or something like that, that sounds pretty sweet. Definitely sounds helpful. I do not know how to use it though. Well, I don't know. I was thinking maybe. So we don't get red in the outer rings anymore. I was expecting kind of nothing in the middle, I think. But maybe it's left over from before, right? Because that's one of the things about displays in CircuitPython. They live past the VM. Let me unplug, replug. Write down some of the dates of what you tested. That's a good idea. Right now we're still on that 928. I think I checked out a new one, but we haven't done a build and copied it yet. We did still get this stuff in the middle, so maybe we should not initialize the display, actually, yeah. Yeah, because when we initialize the display, it's going to try to show Blinka. I bet you this is Blinka. Whoops. I bet you this here is supposed to be Blinka. It's purple as well, so like kind of tracks. It's obvious, like it's obviously too small to be able to make out what it actually is for sure, but my guess is what it's supposed to be. I'm about Foamy Guy. If you have questions on the IS code, nice. Maybe just have to ping me, feel free to. Nice, I will definitely do that if we get into it and I've got questions. I appreciate that, my friend. Where do we make the display here? Let's get rid of that. Do we should not need the frame buffer? Not do the frame buffer also? Brightness? We're going to put this stuff back because my hypothesis is that these animations actually work right and that it's the display stuff specifically that doesn't work, but it's still just a hypothesis, so you got to do the test. If that turns out to be the case, though, then we will put this stuff back so that we can test and know when we have a build that fixes it. Works amazingly well, can highly recommend. PyCharm, I think maybe is what Devin's talking about there. Following, we had this, we get this again. Why did we get this? A bummer, because I just like... Wondering how to prompt engineer this situation into ChatGPT. Copy this here. This is on my PC. That way, whether or not it saves on the microcontroller doesn't matter. Save it here, and then I guess are we back into safe mode or? Okay, now we are definitely back into safe mode. I'm gonna try not to reset this too fast as well. For folks that watched last week's deep dive, I think that was last week, I kind of got cut off at the end because my computer crashed on me, and I think the reason that my computer crashed on me is because I was resetting USB devices too much / too fast. I'm gonna kind of try to give it some deliberate slowness instead of going as fast as I can to, fingers crossed, hopefully not end up in that situation again. Now I do still have this stuff here though. I don't know, that's weird. What would it be drawing? Maybe there is, maybe maybe hypothesis then is wrong that it's only the display part. See, the other thing too though, I'm not 100% convinced that this saved my new code, right? Because PyCharm gave me that error. Let's try this. Print changed version. Let's see if we actually have this. See, we're having trouble saving each time. I don't think it's saved. I think we're not running the new code. All right, I'm gonna go. Oh, we just hard crashed? Okay. I'm gonna go to REPL. I'm gonna close this. Unplug. Yeah. Plug back in. At least this thing does think it's saved. Of course, we don't. And then it just hard crashes as soon as I Control C. Yeah, this build doesn't seem like a build we want to use, I guess, too much. So we're just hard faulting here. I still don't think I trust that we are actually having the latest code. PyCharm is showing me the code that's edited, but I don't think it's on the device. I think PyCharm's lying to me. But I mean, did we get time.sleep? Because it didn't print, right? We should have seen this. So either it ran and this got printed before this connected, therefore we just didn't see it, or it's actually the old version. And the problem is, like, normally what I would do here is Control-C and then Control-D. That would re-execute the code without disconnecting, reconnecting, which in our case would make us be able to see if we got this sleep and make us be able to see if we got this print. But as soon as I Control-C here, this will hard fault, I think. I just did Control-C once, we got disconnected, and then we got hard fault. So yeah, I think we can't use this version. This version seems broken for other reasons. So I did check out a new one of these. It was 8222. We're gonna make the build. Should we make clean each time, probably? Time to use Moo. Makes me feel like I'm watching Inception. Yeah. Commits inside your commits. I mean, we could try Moo. Well, actually, I don't know that I have Moo installed on this computer, come to think of it. I don't... Well, we could... Yeah, we could try it to see if the code is there. I can just use text editor too for that as well. That definitely looks like Blinka. However, why would Blinka be showing? Well, if we still have the old version of the code, I guess. Yeah, if we still have the old version. Let's see if we can reload. This thinks this is red. Oh, okay, just a bunch of this stuff. Yeah, that doesn't matter. I mean, this still shows the new version. Let's just restart. I went to hard crash there. Okay. So the display on this one works, but it did still hard fault. This time I didn't actually do anything. It just ran for a second for I don't know however long that was, and then hard faulted. We didn't print this, but I guess it could have happened before. Supposedly we have time.sleep, so I mean I would have thought 5 seconds would be enough, but maybe not. But we're still doing. See, I don't know. Something is weird. Not letting us save. I'm still not kind of a little bit unconvinced that we are modifying the file. Should be plenty of space free. Yeah, see, this is still the old one. This is not even the changed one. Yeah. I will say, I've had this happen a few times with PyCharm. I don't know why it's doing this or how I could fix it. This is probably, I would say, though, about... What is happening? Hold on. Okay. Okay, getting into things a little bit. Echo sleeping before sleep and then slept. We could do that. And also, this is something I like to do sometimes too. Well, I can't do this here. It's not gonna save. This is not gonna do me any good. All right, let's just close this. I was saying though, like, this is probably the one downside I have found with PyCharm before, and this is like the second or third time ever that I have gotten into this state, so it's not a common thing at all. I do a lot of work in PyCharm with CircuitPython, so it's not common at all, but it is kind of frustrating, because basically this is a lie, right? This is not actually on the device. Even though this says /media, timc, CircuitPy, CodePy, I open this, even though this is here, this is cached. PyCharm has this saved somewhere on my computer, not on the device. At least not on the device in the CodePy file, which we confirmed by looking through a different program. See, these are all uncommented, and we don't have that time sleep in the prints or anything else there. Kind of makes it tough, honestly. Was that the build is that the commit? ED38? I guess this one doesn't actually tie back to a, or it does, okay, B38, E38109? E38109, okay. Can't rename. I wonder if we just got corrupted drive? Read only. Yeah, I think maybe we got corrupted drive, I guess. Do we need anything that's on here? I don't think so. I suppose we should at least keep just in case. Doesn't really cost anything. Is there a way to force it not to cache? I don't know. Probably yes, but I don't know how to do it. The thing about PyCharm, unfortunately, like, you can configure basically everything, but because basically everything is like a lot of things, I don't know how to do all of them, and I don't often feel like spending time digging through the help pages to figure it out, or the settings pages to figure it out. So my guess would be yes, but the truth is I thought I like already turned some stuff off to try to make it do that, and still something weird is going on with it. So in this case though, I think it's twofold. It's the real crux of the problem is that the device is actually seemingly in read-only. It's not allowing us to save anything. That's like the crux of the problem. If that was fixed, I don't think we would have the rest of the problem. The rest of the problem being the fact that PyCharm is showing me that cached version from wherever it came from. If it would be able to actually save correctly, though, then it wouldn't get out of sync like that, I don't think. Validate caches. We could try that. That's in here somewhere or something, I think. Validate caches. We need to get our device back in order though, because I tried this, which is totally outside PyCharm, and we can't write from here either, which means anything we ever do inside PyCharm won't make a difference at this point, I don't think. Okay. Here we go. Now we're back to this showing the real stuff. So let's edit it here first, and then I'll copy it over. This one does not initialize the display, so my understanding is we should not get Blinka. Let's axe more of this too. Get rid of all this. If we don't have the display, then we don't need a text label. None of this is actually going to do anything if we don't have a display. Why though? What is that 3 and why is... Finally that's working. What is that 3? Bookmark. Change mnemonic? I had no idea there were bookmarks in this. Can I go to it? If I like, is there a key command to go to it? Might be kind of cool. Navigate with the caret. Bookmarks. Shift F11 with a mnemonic. Press Shift F11 and then the letter you need. If we were in a totally different file and we said Shift F11 or okay, that's pretty cool. I don't need it right now, and I definitely did turn it on accidentally. And Shift F11 is not the easiest thing to do on my keyboard, but that's pretty sweet functionality. Didn't know the device was in read-only. It's usually not possible unless you have a boot py that sets it that way. But in my case, I think we probably corrupted the storage somehow, and that's how we ended up in that situation. Probably as part of our resets and our hard faults, somewhere in there, something happened at the wrong time. We ended up with corrupted storage in such a way that it ended up being read-only, which does happen from time to time. It's relatively rare, but especially if you're doing CircuitPython development where you're loading new versions of CircuitPython all the time, and like, especially like, you know, in between version, like nothing that I'm loading is an officially released version, right? So it's like definitely subject to Lord only knows what kinds of bugs and things as well too. So I think we save that. No module. Okay. Yeah. Module display text. Lookup is outdated. Ooh, outdated by a while. December 10th. There we go. Okay. Sleeping 0123. So we have the latest version now. Changed version printed. Oh, we don't have animate. Wait, this is never called animate. Wait a minute. How did this work? Am I crazy? How did this work? Did we delete animate? There had to be animate in here, right? Well, I must have deleted something. There must have been another line here, I think. Yeah. Honestly, we messed up this stuff too. All of that stuff is messed up. The indentation was wrong, and we lost one of these lines too. So that stuff back. Also, we don't want this now. Animate. Okay. I'm sort of still perplexed by the Blinka. I assume that's a Blinka. Not sure why that would be showing at this point, but maybe it's because we ran the other version first, but shouldn't this release it? Did make it to Control C, and then, oh, as soon as I did Control D, we got the hard fault. Are we gonna be stuck again now? Oh, man. Boy, that is gonna make the, that's gonna make the testing iteration cycle here a bit slow if it's gonna be... We get corrupted every time? It's executing, so it didn't go directly to hard fault. But it is still read-only. Can't change the files. We definitely don't have a boot out, or I mean a boot pie, so we're definitely not like accidentally making it read-only. Definitely just getting into a broken read-only, so yeah. It still won't work. It'll still fail. It's like, yeah, it doesn't care what my computer thinks. That's why I'm thinking of memory error that is causing the hard fault. Something with allocating, freeing memory, blaming my own poor skills. I don't know. I wouldn't blame your poor skills. I don't think that's not the way I look at it, at least certainly. Erase file system. I mean, a memory thing does seem to make sense as far as like the way it's breaking, I would say, though, for sure. So let's try to, or, well, I guess this is the back to hello world. Oh my. All right. My pie chart is frozen. Wipe the Pico from 7.3 to 8.0.0. I do remember seeing something about that. I wonder if we are getting that when we up. I've only updated twice though at this point. So now PyCharm is frozen. So try to talk nicely about it. Today is not PyCharm's day, really. Ooh. It is broken in such a way where it's not going to work after we close it and reopen it either. Like we're getting further away from where we're trying to be at this point. Okay. That says CircuitPy with nothing. This has stuff. Ay, ay, ay. I think that we are just gonna give up on using PyCharm for this to try to eliminate another one of the things that's currently broken. At the end of the day, I don't want to be troubleshooting PyCharm right now. It's got a jingle like something, oh, no longer connected. Close that altogether. Okay. We're back to Hello World. Ooh. We lost our changes from last time. And this doesn't have a comment all lines that I know how to use. Do that. Nope. As soon as I did Control D, it hard faulted again. Partially, I feel like what I'm learning right now is stop trying this version. This version is not gonna work, it seems like. But I mean, we got farther than this. What changed, though? And I would assume at this point we're back to read-only. Is that... No. Okay. Good sign. Better, at least. We are hard faulted currently. Can I just not run this code, though? Stand. So this didn't print like 0, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah? So it failed before it got there, I guess. But I can't see it because it failed before it connected, and as soon as I Control D, it's gonna hard fault. No libraries. That would make sense, yeah. And this just reran from me saving the code and didn't hard fault. So if I Control C, Control D, nope, yeah, Control D definitely does hard fault it. Okay. So when it first comes up, the reason it fails is it doesn't have libraries. Should I have gone to REPL first? I feel like I probably should have gone to REPL first. Okay. Didn't get anything this time. Okay. I think I'm throwing away this version. I refactored this to try to separate out the label from the animations to try to see if one was working and the other wasn't. It feels like we're fighting a losing battle with this, though. I don't want to keep. I feel like I'm further away from my goal after spending an hour on it, which is not what we want. So I'm going back to the stock version. I'm no longer caring about separating out animation from display. Because I don't know why that's not working. We got a bunch of different outcomes. None of them necessarily were ones that I was actually expecting. I was trying to get myself into a spot where I was doing what I expected, and I failed to do that, so I don't know. Hard fault handler. So this time we had an error because we don't have the font, but we did still end up in the hard fault handler nonetheless. I guess that should have failed the same. That should have been the reason it failed last time too, actually, because I just didn't copy that font. So ever since we ran storage erased file system the first time, theoretically we should have never expected the font to work after that, which I commented it out for a while. I guess that is why that partially worked. Okay. So now we need to go between 8.2 and 9.28. Let's go around like 9.1 somewhere. Nine four. Check out. Bootloader. And while this copies, I will BRB. Okay, copied that. We're back to CircuitPy. That's not doing anything. So we. Oh. Hmm. Okay, that's interesting. Four 9B4. This was 9-4. We don't know if it's good or bad yet, I guess, so... So this one failed... Oh. Okay. I was gonna say this one failed for a reason that we don't get to see. But something triggered it to rerun. Is that me saving inside Sea Lion? Would be weird, wouldn't it? Hopefully that's not what triggered it. The reason I hate hard faults is it never tells you why it crashed. Well, I mean, a program that's crashing can't always tell you why it's crashing. It doesn't necessarily know. I think like all programs get to a certain state of broken and then can't tell you anything about why they're broken or how they're broken because they're too broken to exist or do anything. Don't have a debugger, so if I keep running into it, I'll switch boards. Yeah. A lot of boards to choose from. That's basically because of hard faults. Yeah, swapping. I do like swapping between them. I mean, it's particularly tricky to debug for sure. But it's like, I don't necessarily think it could be that much better, really. Somewhere along the lines, like, too much of the program doesn't work. It can't tell you exactly why the program doesn't work. I mean, that seems kind of odd, right? We have definitely a thing connected. Let me just unplug, replug. That was the wrong button. Okay. We have bad version. Bad behavior, I should say, rather. So something between 822 and 9.4. So let's aim for like 8:15-ish, halfway through August. Well, yeah, I feel you there. It definitely does get frustrating. It's frustrating sometimes for sure. The thing that I tell myself in moments where it does start to get frustrating like this, though, is like I would rather be the one to go through this frustration than somebody who is brand new and has no idea at all what's going on or what could possibly be broken. I'm better equipped to fight it, even if it is a frustrating experience, than somebody who's brand new. So I'd rather slog it out and save someone who's like picking up CircuitPython for the first time from hopefully having to deal with anything similar, and that usually helps get me through it, even though it is difficult and or frustrating sometimes. So we'll go 2BC. This one we'll make a new build. Bootloader. Copy that. You feel it in the force? Nice. Fingers crossed. I mean, we're definitely we got it narrowed down. Taking good chunks out of it each time, so. We ended up on 816. That one's good. So we want to be between 816 and 94. So we will go maybe like 824, 5-ish. Ooh, there's 815 snuck in here out of order. That's kind of interesting. Let's do 823 here. Make clean. Make for real. Bootloader mode. Oh, let me wait until it's done building. I don't want to reset it while it's building and doing too much stuff. It's part of my slow down a little bit initiative. Now we'll go to bootloader mode. That's it for just a second. Copy our file to it. Guessing that's a broken one? Yep. So now we're going to be between 816 and 823, so let's land on about 820. Be 819. Fix that. Merge pull request from Gambler. Okay. I mean, that seems relevant. IS31. So do we want to go to the one before that? Of course, I don't know. If I go to the one before that, does it actually not have it? Or because too small fixes to remove hard-coded? This is definitely touching those files. Seems particularly promising, I suppose. Let's try to get one before that. Let's try this. 819, but specifically 819 before the ones touching the actual IS31. That's 819. Surely that's gonna be the key, I guess, right? It's gotta be the ones that actually touch those files. I gotta assume that's where it is. It's me from about the IS31. That's probably where it broke. Okay. The build, we go to bootloader. Yeah, that's true. Part of the cycle of life. When it comes to software, at least. That. This is good, though, because if this actually gets us down to the right spot, it also gave us a PR number. Although I don't know if... Oh, yeah, 6784. It did. It gave us PR number as well. So we can pull that up as well and see just the diff from that PR and actually look at the files. I don't know. Sometimes it will list the files here. I don't know what. Something must have changed the view somehow. Okay, so this one is good. And so then just to verify, we're going to build the one that we think is the one where it broke, which is, well, twofold, I guess. It would be either, I mean, technically it would be that actual commit from Gambler, but I suppose we'd get the same thing if we checked out this one. But let's do this, because this is like the literal next one, right? So 819 before, that one was here. And 819 Gambler is the one we're on. Yeah, this has got to be it. I looked, at one point I looked through all the code files that had changed, and I didn't. I must have done something wrong, because somehow I left with a conclusion that none of those files had been touched in this range. Didn't make any sense to me. But I didn't keep digging in that direction. So I must have done something wrong when I found the actual list of files, because that was the first thing I did, was like look inside that module and try to find relevant changes. Somehow I seem to have failed. I have a hunch. We are honing in, hopefully. Yes. Okay, so 6784, I think it said. And then GitHub will be easier to tell the actual difference in the code. 6784. Display height got added. Kind of interesting that it was 5 before, but I guess that's because of it only really supported the one device. So the environment Adafruit has in GitHub in development, there's no toxic blame. I've seen in other places, just super nice and open, very inviting, love it. Yeah, only agree there. It doesn't do any good to be getting all mad, being toxic to people, certainly. So the good news is there's really not that much here, right? So theoretically, I mean, like the height, maybe? Self-height? What does self-height actually report? So this would be, can we actually print it out? This is not the right file, right? Because we got out of PyCharm because it was wonky. Oh. Restarted it, right? Oh, we did actually make it hard fault this time. Did this actually save? Ooh, probably not. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I'll try unplug, replug. PRs made a code that work more on. PRs make the code work more on generic displays like 13:9. I don't think I used scaling for that display. Guessing the height passed is 15 when it should be 5. Divide by 3 for the scaling. If it is 15 instead of 5, it's probably writing who knows what to memory all over the place. Okay, so what is actually... It's probably better to even be inside the core here, right? Like, well, did we print it from the Python layer? I am kind of curious. So we got back to safe mode here. I don't know that we're going to be able to get, oh, and we're disconnected actually right now. Okay. Connected there either. Oh, I unplugged it. Oh. Reconnect. Oh, disconnected already. Thinks it saved it that time. Whether it actually did or not, necessarily no. Okay, seems like we made it to there at least. We didn't see our print, but that's because we weren't connected yet. So then the other thing actually that we need to do is I want to print the height somewhere here. This is the wrong code. Oh, it does have this actually. Is this the right thing to print the height from before we do this? Yeah, looks like it should be. Or do we want the frame buffer? Do we want the frame buffer display or the frame buffer... Just frame buffer. Does this have a... Does this have a width? I mean a height? I mean, if it has one, it probably has both, but... I'm just not defined. Interesting. What stopped? I think that was just an errant write from my computer. Did it reset again? Buffer height is 15, display height is 15. So then what we'll do is go Control-C this. Hard faults this, unfortunately, that's fine for right now. We want to go back to the one before. And then run the same code and see if it prints 15 for both of them still here. And if it doesn't, then we know that is the difference. Passing in 15. But I mean, should it not be passing 15? I guess I don't necessarily know what it should or shouldn't be doing, but it does, when you pass 15, it works on 7.333 version, right? So it should, I mean, passing in 15 here should be fine, I think. Should it or not? Maybe I don't know. Well, I definitely don't know. But it does work on 733, but maybe that's just getting ignored on 733, or there must be some other reason. Frame buffer C line. So I'll look in there. I will be in a weird state. Like right now I'm on the state from right before your commits, I believe. Is that in shared module? $175, and so the lines will be different here because this is before yours. But I think height was that? I think it was passing height in here maybe in the new one. We got our build. Let's go to bootloader. Copy this. It was hard coded. I see. So and then it's just ignoring, I guess. So then is our change, well, maybe to twofold question. Is our change actually in the core, or do we just need to change the example to be 5 instead of 15? But then the follow-up from that is like, if we just need to change the example to be 5 instead of 15, the next question becomes, could we guard against that in the core to where if you give it the wrong number, somehow it doesn't do the weird stuff? This does have 15 both here still, though, so it's like it at least thinks it's the same number. Which is interesting. Oh. Somehow we are now at the top of this list. Thank you to whoever said write the dates. I think that was David? Whoever said write the dates earlier, you saved us just now. Because if I hadn't been writing these down, I don't think I would have remembered 819. Then we would have just been like strolling through this list again, or searching or something. Did it again, actually, for some reason. Okay, F134, F8, yeah. Okay, so then let's look at that file this time. That's got self height. Switching to Twitch, so I have less lag. Hearing what you're doing. What if it can't divide by 3 evenly like 11? Good question. But in the low-level code, it should be 5 because the physical display is 5. Should be self.scale height. If self.scale is true. So like here, basically, instead of self.height, it would be self.scale height, but then technically only if scale is true. Does this have a scale? Hey, whoa. Okay. So then I'll worry about the if statement after, but theoretically we then maybe fix it with like that, like hard-coded for this version to test it. But then we'll need, it sounds like we will need probably if statement or something here. So if scale is true, then we use this. Otherwise, what do we use otherwise? Do we just use height if it's not true? Got blocked what I changed, but I'm assuming you said it. I did, yeah, here, let me do. I set it to, that didn't really help very much, did it? I set it to self.scale height. Yeah, sorry, I gotta try to remember the chats there. Forget about that sometimes. Scale height, and then okay, height otherwise. So theoretically, once we can have an if statement, we'll say like if scale is true, then we use scale height. If not, then we use regular height. Okay, I think, did I make Did I make the... I don't know, I'm second guessing. We're just going to make a new one. Doesn't it took 10 seconds or whatever to build 20 seconds. We'll just spend the 20 seconds again, just in case. Okay, double tap, bootloader, copy. We probably should have had it print scale height too. Oh well. We have time.sleep, which we missed the beginning of because it wasn't connected yet, but that's fine. Buffer height 15, display height, there it is. So now we're gonna go all the way back to main, try making that change on main just to make sure that it still works with current versions, and then at this point, we're ready to make a change, make a branch, make a PR. So let's go back to main. Technically, this will still have my change, I think, because PyCharm, well, we're in CLion now, which is not PyCharm, but might as well be. Has a bunch of helpful Git stuff, which will automatically stash and unstash. Scale height. Should we try our... let's not do the if statement yet. Let's just do it this way, hard-coded still again. So we'll just make a build. This build is main, current main, but with the change of this being scale height. And then I gotta run to the restroom again, sorry. So I'll be RB. Okay. Also shows up on line 196. Oh yeah. It's about 30 or not 30 or oh, there's already an if scale. Oh, so then should it just be so if scale in here is true, so should that one be scale height, but then 196 because that's an else, so scale false? Should that one still just be height? Because that one should always be scale false if I understand the logic. Quick background. Scale was from the Arduino version where it would create a 3x size display in memory, the average squares, to make it look nicer on the tiny display. And average squares to make it look nice on the tiny display. Interesting. Scale height should always work, I see, okay. Too many code windows open. Oh, I feel you there. I can definitely relate to that conundrum. Let's scale height on this one too. Make a new build here, clean. We probably don't need to be doing clean each time, but that's all right. Is that why Arduino text always looks so blocky when scaled up? It's a good question. I mean, if you mean like on displays and like if you're talking about specifically on the glasses and or the matrix, then possibly. If I'm understanding right, though, everything Gambler is talking about with the 3x size in the Arduino is specifically to this IS31 NeoPixel chip and either the glasses or the matrix. So if you mean like on a separate display or something with Arduino, then I would assume that's a different deal. I'm also not sure that I understand though which one you mean. So we're gonna go reboot bootloader. Hug report, by the way, for Mark. I probably would not be able to have figured this out without you. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you for bringing your historical knowledge to the table, because I think you have probably hit the nail on the head here, and I don't necessarily think it would have been that easy for me to figure this out without your help. I probably would have just been trying to undo each of those changes one at a time to figure out what was going on. I did not know anything about the scaling like this. 196 could both be this one. Really wouldn't matter on the 196 one. Did I copy? No. Where's my copy? Oh, because we made 2 builds. Okay, so that's the same thing we had. Worked out that I was on and saw that you were working. Nice. Yeah, probably we won't make it to the other displayio stuff, but the next thing, if anybody's interested in a sneak preview of what I will probably be working on tomorrow now, it is a displayio issue. I'm like a moth to flame for displayio stuff. Jose David posted issue. If you use negatives, when you instantiate bitmap, you get memory error. It should validate for positive values. So tomorrow we will, as long as nobody else has come and done this change yet, tomorrow I'll work on that argument validation. I figure we'll start in bitmap. My assumption is if we actually took a closer look around, we probably will find more places where negative and or non-numerical values would cause weirdness, to say the least. So we'll start with that one and then kind of look around through the rest of displayio as well. That is really, really weird. This was running ever since it rebooted just fine, like literally until I came back to this tab. I clicked back to this tab and it paused as soon as I got there, which is so weird. This has like, it can't be writing files, like that was just a coincidence, but like how and why? That was so weird. Okay, and we are good still. So we have now current main with the fix. Everything is going good. So then that fixes what we would want to PR. Looking forward to next Christmas stream from Gambler in below freezing weather, looking at pretty NeoPixel projects. Reading the display core to figure out how to get GIFs going, so need a distraction. Ah, nice. Yeah, GIFs are going to be amazing. You get another hug report for working on that. I think that's going to be super awesome. Once you get a branch or a PR or anything in, I will definitely jump on trying that out. Okay, so let's make a branch so that we can have a PR. Is there a way I can like test the other case or something? Maybe we should make a new example that uses the native driver, but does something less complex. It's kind of a separate deal though, right? 5 second. When a number forms part of an adjective compound, use a hyphen. I don't know. Check out -IS31FL3741. I've gotten this memorized now. I've done this enough times. I have to go in chunks of 2 though. I only have it memorized 2 digits at a time. Check out -B fix. We say native? I mean, it doesn't matter native, right? Because we're inside the core, which means we're only working on the native one anyway. From Adafruit main No track. New branch. Theoretically, we should be pretty much ready to push. I don't know why we have 2 more changes. I'm going to uncheck those. So we should have just 175 and 196, which now have scale height instead of height. Should we run pre-commit? Yes, that's the answer. Sweet. That's interesting. Okay. Not gonna check that in either, though. Weird. I don't know why it made that change. That's odd. (80°F). Ah, I don't have a remote. Remote. You got it, them diffs? Yeah, we're gonna cut that copy. Guy. I haven't used this define remote thing very much, but it is actually pretty convenient being able to do that from here, just like I did. Usually I do that in the terminal, but a month or 2 ago I forgot to do it in the terminal once and found that thing in that menu, learned how to actually do it from there. -30C this week. Thankfully it's on its way out. I think just turn scaling off and making the display 15:5. Yeah, today was fairly cold here. I would say, I don't actually know the temperature for sure. My guess is like probably 40s. Something like that, 40s Fahrenheit. And I hear it's supposed to warm up over the next couple of days, which does sound nice. It's not like frozen here though, but it was on the chilly side, let's say. Not too bad, but wouldn't want to spend too much time out there without a coat or anything. Oh, we don't get to, I don't know, how does it decide which ones to put in that list? (7516). Yeah, I'm with you. Shorts weather. Yeah, I'm definitely a shorts. I have shorts on right now. I had pants on when I went outside earlier today to go for a walk, but like, I pretty much default to shorts the vast majority of the year. And then like, if I'm about to go outside and it's super cold out, then I'll change to pants before I leave, but we did fail actions right away. Or maybe this icon's just wrong, because these are both yellow here. Yeah, still yellow. GitHub lied to us for a second. That's all right. It's like Sub-Zero's lair or something. Or oh no, it's is it from Terminator 2? Is that the liquid robot from Terminator 2? When he gets frozen from like right at the end there, they freeze him with liquid nitrogen or something so they can break him. Is that at the? I guess that's not quite at the end. Day After Tomorrow. Oh, okay, different movie. Totally different movie. Okay. This is back to X again. But is it actually, or is it just GitHub? Oh. Accidentally refresh the chat. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. Well, we just have to wait for a while. I don't know why that icon's changing there, but we'll see. If it ends up not passing, then I'll check back in on this later tonight. If it ends up not passing, then I'll try to figure out what it needs, get it going. I can approve the PR after everything's passed. That'd be awesome. Yeah, thank you. Anything else tonight? I don't necessarily think I'm going to dive into anything else. We got only about 10 to 15 minutes, really, until I would wrap up anyway. But I don't think I want to dive into a different topic. I think I put in the title the displayio one as well, but I think I'm just going to keep that for tomorrow. Going to keep that for tomorrow. So if folks are interested, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. I'll be streaming over on my own channel. So if you're interested in watching that, you can follow me on Twitch, foamyguy_Twitch. Turn on notifications, and then you should get notifications for that. Double check your settings and all that kind of stuff, because I know Twitch is like, you could follow people, but then have your settings off, and then you don't get the notifications anyway. So if you're interested in that, head over there. I'll also drop the links in the chat when I get going in the morning as well. So the other thing you could do is just come back to this live broadcast chat, the Discord chat channel that's on the screen there. And I'll put the links to YouTube and Twitch when I'm about to get started. So I think tomorrow we'll work on this. Like I was saying before, the primary thing to fix here is that the bitmap constructor allows you to pass in a negative number and then tries to allocate memory weirdly in a way that fails, and like really it should have validation that just says, hey, that's below 0, which is nonsensical. You're not allowed to do that. So we'll add that check-in, but I suspect there's going to be more places where there's similar things like this, right? Like what happens if you do a negative here, or what happens if you do a negative for tile grid instead of bitmap, or for palette instead of either, or for display or whatever. So I think what we'll do is tomorrow's stream, I will fix this one, and then we will kind of go around trying to break the rest of the stuff. We'll be sticking negatives and nuns and strings and all kinds of stuff into arguments that are not supposed to be. See what else breaks, and then try to just improve the validation inside the core. Generally speaking, the displayio core. Yep, look forward to coffee with Tim on Saturday morning if I wake up in time. Yep, I will be here. I will have some coffee. Come and join me if you're interested. Yeah, for sure. No, thank you. Like I said again, thank you to Mark. I would not have probably been able to fix that without help. So definitely appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, watching along, interacting in the chat, and definitely most of all, thanks for helping out with that kind of stuff, Mark. What is my channel link? I get you that. We got a couple minutes anyway. Yeah, so I'll say too, there are still a few minutes. If anyone's got questions, comments, just want to ask or say anything, like now's definitely a good time to do that. foamyguy_Twitch. I'll link that in here. Just a link to that one. Great dive, and as a fan, this got way further and had me intrigued. Lots of ideas and variables. Capital GG. Nice. Yeah, appreciate it, Jack. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad that it was an enjoyable thing to watch and interesting and all that kind of stuff. Thank you to everybody who's watching. In fact, thank you to everyone who came and interacted in the chat and said hi and all that kind of stuff. Plus everyone who's just watching along. Appreciate all of you. I do hope everyone has a good evening, good rest of your weekend. If you don't see me tomorrow. And all of that kind of stuff. Appreciate the follow over there. I heard the jingle. I don't actually have my Twitch open anywhere, so I'm not going to be able to see unless I get OBS quick enough, which I don't think I got OBS quick enough to be able to see it. But I heard the jingle. Thanks for the follow over there on Twitch. I'm going to assume that was either Jack or Quinman, one of the folks that asked for it in YouTube. Appreciate the follow for that. And for everybody else, good night, and I will see you all next time. Thanks.